Hi, my name is Camille, and on behalf of the In-Between, welcome home. It has been an extraordinary journey, hasn't it? Walking the In-Between once, and I'll put that playlist link in the description below, and then revisiting it so that we could better recognize ourselves when we are going through change, uncertainty, and rebirth. And what has been revealed to us is nothing short of life-changing. In the beginning, the in-between was all about the space between endings and beginnings. Then we came to realize that the in-between is also the place between who we were and who we are becoming. As we walked, we realized something even more profound, that the in-between was actually the walk home to ourselves, that we were learning how to unhook from the world of effects and begin to live from our inner world. The helpers, the invitation, and now the unseen forces have been the guides to that inner world that we have begun to develop. On this second time around, I have to say that I have been deeply, deeply moved by the tremendous wisdom that the in-between holds. It seems like the more you work with it, the more you sit with it, the more you become conscious of it, the deeper it takes you. At least that's been my experience. And now here we are at the final guidepost, the unseen forces. I would encourage you to go back and look at the Unseen Forces video, because not only are these unseen forces available to us when we're walking the terrain of change, uncertainty, and rebirth, turns out they're there all the time to guide us and assist us in our everyday living, to help us design the next version of ourselves, the next life we are here to live long after the change has settled. The thing about the unseen forces, when you first begin to walk the terrain of change and transformation, is that they're just that. They're unseen. I know for myself, I didn't even know they existed, let alone knew that they were somewhere peripherally for me to eventually notice, learn about, and ultimately live by. That's why we have come back. That's why we are walking the terrain a second time, when things are calmer, when we are calmer, bringing a heightened sense of curiosity to see what else is nestled in this incredible, sacred, messy place that we are calling the in-between. And it turns out there is just so much here. In this final deep dive with the unseen forces, and yeah, I took some time because I really was being called so deeply into them. I needed time to see what it was that the unseen forces were wanting to show me that I had not yet seen. And it's really quite remarkable that it has shown me so much more than I have ever imagined or knew existed in the field that I call the unseen forces. Things like divine timing and synchronicity, soul contract, manifestation, all of these principle-based laws, many of them. I mean, let's look at that. The law of reciprocity. Another way of saying that, what comes around goes around. Another way of thinking about that is you reap what you sow. I mean, these are the universal laws that govern life. We didn't put them here. We can't take them away. We can learn about them, though. We can learn how to make them work for us, and we can use their wisdom and their assistance in living a more conscious life, because that's pretty much the final truth, at least right now, of the in-between, is that it gives us the opportunity to go from an unconscious victim. Why is this happening to me? Which is what the old design model is hinged on and built upon, to something far greater that sounds like this. I choose to be a conscious co-creator of my life. I choose to go through change uncertainty, and transformation mindfully, aware, and consciously participating in my own becoming. That's extraordinary. That is extraordinary. And that is what the in-between is all about. An extraordinary glimpse at the architecture and the language of transformation. That's ultimately what it has finally showed me. That when we go through each of these areas, the change cycle, the inner landscape, the helpers, the invitation, and now the unseen forces, what we're really looking at is architecture. We're looking at the hidden infrastructure of transformation that all of us go through. So it's universal. It's also giving us a language, the change cycle, helping us understand what change actually is all about, the inner landscape, how we feel when we're going through that change, the helpers, the guides, and the guidance that's there to support us as we walk, the invitation. This is what change is always asking us to consider, that the invitation is asking us to look at change from a different perspective, a higher perch, or as you've heard me say many times, from the back row. And now, the unseen forces. This is the moment when we realize just because I can't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because I can't see it, it doesn't mean I can't participate with it. In the old design model, you know what we used to say, I got to see it to believe it. That had us waiting a very long time because that's actually the opposite of how life works, how the unseen forces work. That's why in the new design model, we say, I believe it and I know I'm going to see it. And now, having walked it a second time, our wisdom deeper than it was the first time around, you know what we're saying now? Even if I can't see it, I believe it. Even if I can't see the law of gravity, I know that if I step off a building, I'm going to have the experience of the law of gravity. Even though I can't see the thing that cracks open a seed and draws forth the bloom, clearly there's some intelligence doing that. And that's why with faith, every season, we go ahead and we plant, anticipating, knowing that we will eventually see the bloom. And so for me, the unseen forces have become my partner in my everyday living. I have had to practice. I have had to test them out. I've had to experiment with them. I've had to have active conversations with what I can't see. And time again, it responds. Whether it's in another person, a message, a song, an actual demonstration, synchronicity, whatever it has used, it certainly has communicated very clearly to me, Camille, we hear you. We're glad you trust what you cannot see. And now we will reveal ourselves to you in a language that you can understand. This is just some of what is available to you as you begin to allow the in-between to take root in your consciousness, in your thinking, in your belief system, in your heart. Because this is also what I've come to realize, that when you get beyond the in-between, when you go through and are on the other side of your change, your transformation, when you've arrived at clarity after sitting in the unknown, what feels like forever, you realize that all of these beautiful tools, all of these incredible invitations, all of these mystical, unseen forces and sometimes helpers turns out to offer us an actual design for living life. And these days, I am always extremely grateful for new instructions coming directly from the new design model that can show me how to walk from what was to what I cannot yet see, but know with all my heart is calling my name. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your comments, subscribing, and liking the videos. All of that helps. This concludes recognizing yourself in the in-between. And as I've promised, next time we connect, I'm very much looking forward to sharing some exciting news with you. Something I just want to tell you because of the walk we've done together, not once, but now twice. So I hope you'll take some time for yourself and go back. Maybe grab a journal or your phone so you can take notes. And even if you're not going through transformation, uncertainty, chaos, and change, the information in this walk is so profound and so helpful in everyday living. I can't encourage you enough to take the time and walk with me again in the in-between. Take good care of yourself.